I was walking down Newbury Street in Boston on a very clear, very brisk day in the late afternoon. Low on the horizon, the white winter sun shone directly into my face. It dazzled me, this light. I could see shadow forms of people coming toward me, but I couldn't make out faces and I couldn't make out buildings. And it was almost like I was blind, except my eyes were wide open. How to describe it exactly? It was almost like I was a camera with its lens open too far. And the funny thing about the drivers in Boston is they don't honk. They drive like madmen, but they don't honk, which is quite unexpected to a New Yorker who expects not only honking, but yelling, sirens, distant gunfire. So here I am having a strange, silent walk down Newbury Street. Strange not only because it's so serene, but because being blinded by this light, my sense of hearing was unusually keen. And without meaning to, I found myself eavesdropping on a number of conversations. And that's all they really were, just conversations, really just fragments of conversations. But I suddenly became so aware of how much life is going on around me all the time, how many stories, how many people are out there with their absolute reality that has nothing to do with my absolute reality. I mean, to them, I'm the backdrop, to me, they're mine. How often do we think of ourselves as the backdrop for somebody else's story? Not too often, I would guess. I think we prefer to think of ourselves as being terribly significant. And I remembered being in New York when a piece of scaffolding fell and bisected the head of a man walking just a block and a half ahead of me. I arrived just in time to see the carnage, the hysteria, and I started thinking about the man who was killed, an actor in his 30s, I read a day later. I mean, the very center of his own particular universe, until that universe was just unceremoniously snatched away from him. And all the rest of us on that New York City sidewalk on 57th Street were just the backdrop for the particular drama that was his life. And how strange would it have been for him to know ahead of time that his supporting cast was just going to play the show on without him? A play with a vacuum where the leading man is supposed to be? I mean, impossible. Except we all live with that illusion, don't we? I mean, we parade the streets daily back and forth, oblivious to the fact that the next piece of scaffolding may be meant for us, and convinced within the deepest part of ourselves that we are nobody's backdrop.